Now, all right, so there's a reason why people are not giving this woman a free pass, because this woman is a murderer. She murdered her boyfriend over silly things, all because she thinks that he was cheating on her and all of that. But we have to look at the picture here. This woman is a murderer. And then she almost got away with it. Goes into a restaurant and act like nothing has happened. And here we have people exposing her still. So I'm gonna get to all of that towards the end of the video, because I think I have some words of my own, because I think a lot of y'all simps be choosing them. Y'all be the ones that be choosing these type of women. Instead of you thinking smart enough to not date them, you just pick them up because they're damaged goods. So I don't know, why isn't this girl in jail? Why isn't she being charged, even though she's been charged with murder? Why isn't she in jail still? It's weird, man. I think the world of social media has turned everyone into killers, murderers, like Freddy versus Jason in real life. And I saw a little bit of that one video a few days ago. I believe someone is from China or Korea, where this broad, she was swiping people left and right. She was swiping people left and right just to murder them one by one. That's how crazy social media has turned people into maniacs. I'm not kidding.
This social media star seemed to be living her best life.
You got like 1 million followers or something?
2 million.
Damn.
Until one fateful night, when sirens and cop cars forced her into a disturbing reality.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be the same thing. God, it's the last time I ever talked to him.
Yeah, you should go.
But by her alleged crime involving her boyfriend of 2 years.
My apologies for being absolutely covered in blood.
With the messy history resurfacing.
You will never protect me!
I only date rich black
Okay,
guys.
rich black guys. There we go.
And consequences looming.
It was a downward strike with an...
Will this creator be found guilty for...
She better be found guilty. Don't let her go. Don't give her a slap on the wrist because of her skin color. I'm telling y'all, a lot of these females be getting away with this stuff so many times. But when it comes to men, we get life in prison. But these people, they get away with so much things. I'm tired of it.
The truth in terms of her body language.
Or will evidence prove that her crime was justified?
Will she gain weight?
Meet the very blonde, very lovely, and very online.
The 304 creator, y'all.
Some creators use their online
a monster in disguise. Everybody is getting famous and going viral for stupid reasons.
And flirtatious nature. In an effort to tease the existence of more scandalized content available to her subscribers on OF, the site that safeguards private and
even OnlyFans is creating monsters like her.
Are you on OnlyFans?
Yes, I am.
For the streets.
The link is in my bio.
Yet,
Shawty is for the streets, y'all.
Online presence, what did fans really know about the influencer beyond her go-to vacation?
We know she's a murderer.
Basic hobbies, and preference for bikinis over one pieces. No, it seems social media only
and plastic surgery
when it came to who Courtney was and what she was capable of. After all, just weeks after filming an episode of the We in Miami podcast alongside fellow adult entertainment stars.
My name is Courtney Taylor, and I am an influencer who does
OnlyFans
for a living.
Courtney would be on the phone with 911, sending emergency services to a crime scene that had her fingerprints all over it. While Courtney remained relatively tight-lipped.
You want to know what's even interesting? Every time I look at these podcasts, they go on there and they just be telling on themselves like crazy. Like, they know what they be doing. That's why niggas be getting their passports going overseas to find traditional women. Then you got these beta male simps out here crying about passport bros not getting women out here claiming that we ain't got no game. No, because we don't want to be dealing with no nonsense.
Emmy podcast, there were a couple of eyebrow-raising moments, such as the influencer's explanation of her taste in men.
I only date black guys, especially black guys. Especially.
I mean, in certain degrees, ain't nothing wrong with having a preference, but when it comes to her exposed videos, like her calling him niggas and all of that, saying how he's not gonna protect her when she went out full-fledged murder mode. Come on, man.
Like, there we go.
And then there's a hint that behind that bright smile Courtney plastered across social media, the influencer had a domineering side.
In my life, I don't like anybody to tell me what to do.
A disposition that, if taken to the extremes, could taint any relationship.
There it is right
Sounds
there.
like you're a control.
See that man she got on?
Relationships.
That explains it.
Be careful with this one. She's gonna boss you
What's
around.
he
Like,
demonic shit?
Sweet toxicity.
Tell me, speaking of which, who was Courtney in a relationship with? While her social media presence may have implied the influencer was single, Courtney was very much spoken for, dating Christian Toby Obumseli. The two began their relationship in November 2020, and trouble quickly followed. Anyone close to or even in the vicinity of Christian
Wow.
and Courtney seemed to smell the telltale stench of a toxic relationship radiating off of them. The reality is, we did see a lot of DV, and it was on her end. A friend who hung out with the couple when they started dating in Austin, Texas told Rolling Stone, whether it was allegedly screaming in public, allegedly fighting over money, or allegedly becoming physical, the friend saw one aggressor
All
in
from
the
her.
relationship. Courtney.
It's all from
And the
her.
source had more than one example of the influencer's behavior allegedly escalating, including a situation at an apartment party in Austin. When the couple was leaving the party, Courtney allegedly made forceful contact with Christian, causing him
Crazy,
to fall.
bro.
I heard it and I went out there and he was at the bottom of the steps, the source told Rolling Stone. A friend also recalled
Wow.
a situation where Courtney allegedly threw Christian's suitcase over a balcony. She was like, haha, toxic girlfriend. But then
You want to know what's even worse nowadays? Every time I see a bunch of simps on social media, they be sharing their girlfriends on social media, and later on down the line, they're gonna end up finding out how toxic their crazy women are. Where the majority of time, they're the ones be choosing them. It's like everybody just loves spearing. Look, everybody just loves being around toxic people. Where they're not even smart enough to even date someone who is a good person. But instead, we're living in clown world. Everybody is just for the streets. Men and women. But I feel like the majority of what's going on nowadays is a bunch of simps be picking these women. And then on top of that, I'll be seeing a bunch of cop videos of simp boyfriends don't want their women going to jail because they've been abused by their girlfriends. Are you seriously, my nigga? Like, are you kidding me? You ought to be dumb enough to even think like that, bruh. Your girlfriend put your hands on you, man. You need to press charges. Or better yet, leave that relationship. But no, you don't want to do that. That's why everybody going through what they going through, because they don't want to leave that toxic relationship. And you see it on social media.
Louis Vuitton luggage, the friend said. It was this thing where she would do something to him, and then her way of apologizing would be to buy him something designer or make up for it with a
Fake.
trip. But surely, if Courtney and Christian's relationship had been this publicly tumultuous, someone would have intervened? Well, apparently, there was intervention from law enforcement. The couple's first run-in with the police traces back to July 2021. The Lovebirds were staying at the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas for a brief getaway when officers responded to a call about a family.
Hey, y'all, you know what they said, right? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But unfortunately, there's been a whole bunch of news media outlets exposed videos from her. Ain't nothing staying in Vegas. Everybody's getting exposed one way or another.
Arrived on the scene, both Courtney and Christian allegedly detailed the same version of events that involved Courtney throwing a glass towards her boyfriend. The influencer also allegedly admitted to the officers that she had thrown objects at Christian before and denied that he had ever resorted to violence during a fight. In January 2022, the two relocated to Miami for Christian to work in cryptocurrency, but the change of scenery didn't seem to cure the couple of their more toxic tendencies. During their time in Miami, neighbors from up to 2 floors away reported noise complaints, resulting in security visiting the couple on multiple occasions, and the
Wow.
building management considering evicting the pair. But behind closed doors, Who could say whether the muffled shouts were antagonizing or pleading, whether a crash was a mistake or a message, or whether a cry was in anger or for help? What happened
it
in
was
private
anger.
would just have to remain a mystery, unless a fight took itself outside of their apartment. And in February 2022, that's exactly what happened. Courtney and Christian may have believed
There you
they
go,
were
right
alone
there.
at that moment in
Yup.
an elevator.
The
but a
evidence
camera
is right
bore
there.
witness
That's
to a
where it
fight
all
that seemed
started.
to expose the volatile side of one person.
Look
In
at
the
her.
footage,
She
Courtney
looks and
behaved
sounds
aggressively,
crazy.
while
Beating up
Christian
on the thing,
seemingly
then she's
attempted to
beating him
calm her
up,
down. And by late
calling
March,
him
the
the
two
N-word and all of
separated after
that.
Courtney
I was
allegedly
surprised he
kicked
didn't hit her
Christian out
back.
of
He
her
should have.
apartment. But by
If
April
it were
1st,
me, I would have
the
been in
two were
jail.
back
I
to
don't
their
care.
old
You put your
ways,
hands on me, it
as
would have been a
police
wrap.
body cam footage
Straight up.
captured a visit made to their apartment building that day after receiving a report of an argument between the couple. Courtney claimed she'd been holed up in her apartment out of fear of Christian, who, according to the influencer and the reports of other tenants, had been using common areas as makeshift bedrooms.
I've been literally sleeping in my elevator room without permission.
But eventually, Courtney had to leave her unit.
I stayed in my apartment all day. I didn't take my dogs out for like 8 hours because I was afraid
Cat.
when I came down here I was gonna beat him.
Cat.
He was, but building staff stepped
Ain't
in
nothing but a
after
bunch of
Christian
lies, bruh.
allegedly charged at Courtney.
We still have them walking around the property that we need to have them removed.
But while police noted there was bruising on Courtney's body and the influencer appeared to want to take action,
I want a restraining order against Christian Gonzalez.
Wow, bro. This
anything
nigga really
Christian
trying to lie
allegedly
on
do
him.
to her,
Because I know.
Oh, this girl is crazy. She lied about him hitting him. And she lied about him being physically abusive towards her. And now all of a sudden she's saying she wants to file a restraining order against this cat. All because of what she did. She started this whole thing. She was the one beating up on him, fighting him, calling him racial slurs to carry on. And even lying to the police. Bruh, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up at all.
How can I make myself first?
the officers believed Courtney was intoxicated and she was unable to make a report. And that brings us to April 3rd, 2022, the day that changed everything. Just 2 days after the police visit, it appeared the pair had made up. Christian allegedly left the apartment at 1:15
I'll leave
p.m.,
her.
while Courtney stayed in and hosted one of her Instagram Live Q&As, where she mentioned her conflicting feelings surrounding the police force.
Do you support the police? Yes, I do. I do. I think a lot of times they don't do their job. For sure. I've not been helped by them.
The influencer also used the live to
Now, I
cover
wanna
her
know why.
plans for her first summer in Miami.
Work out, go to the beach, live my life. Because I'm blessed.
Her love for her new
Yeah, right.
apartment.
You can't be blessed if we doing all of that.
Right here. So it's amazing. It's
Not
the
everybody
best
knows
apartment
about
that
your-
I've ever lived in.
Come
And
on,
where
man.
she saw herself in 5 years.
I see myself with, say, 2 children. I'd say at least 1 kid. A few
Well,
houses.
you can't have no kids now. Look what you at now.
Probably
You
not
crazy
OF,
bastard.
but we'll see.
Overall, the future looked bright, making Courtney seem all the more blissfully unaware of what a few hours later had in store for her. Christian returned to the apartment with Subway sandwiches for himself and Courtney at 4:33 p.m., just after Courtney had ended her Instagram video.
I'm gonna go hit my puff and then eat my sandwich. Thank you guys. Love you.
That's
And while
what they
the
stay
influencer
trying to get away
promised
with.
her
So,
viewers she would go
nah,
on
bruh.
OF later that night, it seemed life got in the way.
I bet it did.
25 minutes later, Courtney was on the phone with 911.
God can't get my arm. Baby, I'm so sorry.
There was no question. Something horrible had happened. By about 5 p.m., officers had arrived at the high-rise luxury apartment on 3131 Northeast 7th Avenue in Edgewater and made their way to a unit they were all too familiar with. See, the police had allegedly responded to multiple disturbances involving the couple within the past 3 months, but none quite like this. On April 3rd, a DV incident that involved a blade had been reported. When they arrived, they found Courtney holding an injured Christian, who had suffered a blade wound to the upper chest. He was rushed to the hospital, but tragically did not survive his injury.
Bruh.
This meant there was only one witness to the crime, Courtney. And the OF star didn't seem to be in any state to provide her version of events after she learned about what happened to Christian.
She can't do nothing.
To inform you that Christian did not make it.
Stop the cap.
Christian is dead. Oh my God.
But while Courtney was being detained, she allegedly threatened to end her life. Under Florida's Baker Act, law enforcement is entitled to put a person who exhibits capabilities of violence towards themselves or others on a psychiatric hold.
Then they try to play victim on suicide watch. Now you see, this is what happens when murderers do this all the time. When they know they did wrong, they want to act stupid, they want to act funny, they want to play victim. Threatening to kill themselves, threatening to take their own life. When they're the ones to that person's life. Because what? You're insecure? Really? This woman is doing nothing but capping. Act like nothing has happened after you murder a black man. This is why people shouldn't be doing OnlyFans. Any type of industry can create a monster within them. And this is the problem.
To the hospital. Still, an interrogation of the influencer was conducted. Footage of Courtney's interrogation was ripped apart by body language expert Dr. Lillian Glass, who labeled Courtney's behavior as ultimate narcissism. Dr. Lillian Glass highlighted these particular clips from the 4-hour-long interrogation.
I just cannot believe the way my day went. Yeah. And it's way worse than I just really want to get to the hospital.
I mean, it's your fault anyway.
About her.
My apologies for being absolutely covered in blood.
To say, excuse me for being covered in blood, like she's doing a YouTube video and wants to apologize that she doesn't look right.
Even she ain't falling for it though.
From somewhere you don't want to be. Which I wouldn't have been. I love him. But like,
Like when she says, I love him, and then she touches her nose. And that's a signal of deception. You wonder if she really did love him.
That's how you know that person is guilty.
Shoulder shrugs when
That's how you know she's
When
guilty.
the interrogation was shared online, viewers also pointed to other specific parts that upset them.
like this is serious. So, I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily in trouble. I feel so much better once they just say he's stable.
Yeah,
and I've been asking so much.
That's what we're waiting for.
I mean, I feel like at the end, if he's not, that's a lot worse for me. But if he's not, that's just a lot worse for everybody. Christian died. Can I please have a hug? Am I allowed to do that in here?
Stop the cap, lady.
No.
And while what happened inside the apartment remained shrouded in mystery, a video TMZ posted the next day exposed the aftermath. In the footage, a handcuffed Courtney sat on her balcony in what appeared to be the same sports bra she'd worn in her Instagram live just hours before, now splattered with red.
Why would you do that?
But did this video capture a victim or a villain? When it came to Christian's family's opinion, the latter might describe the influencer best. After all, she had been the one who fatally wounded her boyfriend. During their preliminary investigation, officers found Christian had been...
Man, y'all just gotta be careful who you pick. It don't matter what color they are. Just be careful of your surroundings. Be careful who you choose and be careful who you date. Because if they turn out like this, that'll be the end of it.
Physical altercation between the two broke out. Still, this didn't mean Courtney's actions were unwarranted. While the influencer's attorney, Frank Prieto, claimed Courtney was keeping her mourning private out of respect for Christian's family, he suggested their calls for justice and an arrest in this matter were misplaced. But what reason could Courtney possibly have had that could justify taking a life? According to the attorney, Courtney had been mistreated at the hands of Christian. And unfortunately, April 3rd was the night things went too far. Courtney had the right to defend herself out of fear of her life, Prieto alleged. According to what Courtney had told police, her wounding Christian was the result of him laying his hands on her. The influencer allegedly claimed she'd thrown the weapon at Christian from 10...
Again, there is no evidence of him physically assaulting her. But there is plenty of surveillance videos of her assaulting him. And I hate when her lawyer is trying to justify her actions, even though she had every right to defend herself. Fine. But at the same time, you have no right to murder that person because you claim that they threatened to put their hands on you. But in the end, the video surface came out. She got exposed. And she lied to the police. Tried to justify her actions. But she was the one that was being physically abusive towards her boyfriend. So don't sit there and try to make her a victim when she's not. Don't try to put mental health issues as an excuse of her actions. I'm getting tired of people doing that.
Feet away. But with Courtney free and Christian passed on, was there any hope for justice in a case that happened behind
There better be
closed doors?
justice.
Even if the police were letting Courtney off the hook, it didn't seem like the public was as forgiving. Less than a week after Christian's passing, Courtney was out in public at Miami's Grand Beach Hotel bar when one patron took it upon themselves to confront the influencer.
Exactly.
Right now, you should go.
Yeah.
You should go. Because you just kissed her boyfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, expose her. She deserved that.
And captioned, "At MPD police, does this look like a mentally unstable person to you?" As
She is.
Courtney's attorney commented on the situation. Courtney was there that
Oh,
night
look at
with
this
her
simp
father,
over here.
who simply wanted to pop in and have a drink in private, which was disrupted by this woman who started filming. Frank Prieto told TMZ,
Oh, shut
"It's
up.
unfortunate that a member of the public, knowing absolutely nothing about the circumstances
We do.
surrounding the passing of Mr. Obumseli, would take the opportunity to harass the Clenny family during a time that they are trying to be supportive for
Bro, they
Courtney."
be killing me
What
with
did
this
those who
stuff,
knew
bro.
the couple intimately have to say? Local 10 News interviewed friends of the couple who, although shocked by the news, weren't under any delusions over the relationship.
I've seen her, I've never seen him, her.
And the idea that Christian's actions would force Courtney to fight for her life didn't line up with the man they knew.
We believe that, Christian wouldn't put her in a position where she would need to him to protect herself.
But a neighbor of the couple also called into question whether Christian was the same man in private as he presented himself as in public. A week before the police received that April 3rd call, the neighbor who had a view into the couple's apartment saw Christian lay his hands on Courtney.
You ain't seen nothing.
Or close-handed, but he was swinging at her.
And Christian was losing supporters for another reason: his tweets. The 27-year-old's online posts seemed to disparage African American women, who he repeatedly praised and expressed desire for. These tweets have caused some to withdraw their support for Christian. One Twitter user wrote, "Everybody wants black women to rally behind this black man that was unalived by the very woman he craved. Call his community, not us. He don't want nothing from us. Respect his wishes." Another saw an almost karmic element in the situation, tweeted, "So Christian Toby Obumseli was on social media passing around anti-black women propaganda and praising only white women, only for a white woman to end him and white police officers refusing to investigate his case. Terrible story, but crazy how the universe works sometimes."
Yeah,
While Christian
it
was
is what it
unable to
is.
defend himself, his brother commented on the situation. In an Instagram post, Jeffrey Obumseli stated that while the family has strongly disagreed with the ignorant and repulsive tweets from his then high school-aged brother that had recently surfaced, that did not change the need for justice, which
Exactly.
had so far been absent from the case, according to Jeffrey. He said the detective assigned to the case had prematurely concluded this was not a crime of violence, despite what the evidence allegedly showed. And what was this damaging evidence Christian's brother spoke of? He alleged his brother had no weapon on him, that Courtney walked away with no injuries, and that she was unable to explain
Try
how the
allowing
fight
this
started.
man for
Added
what?
Together,
He ain't
the
put his
family
hands on her, he didn't hit her, none of that.
Christian's passing was a result of unwarranted and unprovoked violence. Following his passing, the family created a GoFundMe to cover funeral and legal expenses. On the page, Christian's brother wrote that Christian's life was taken just a week before he turned 28.
Damn,
it is
bro.
not enough to say we are shocked and hurting. We are utterly devastated. His passing leaves many unanswered questions and creates a void that
very
can never be
unanswered
fixed or
questions,
filled,
and it's
not
ridiculous.
even with time, he wrote. So far, over $80,000 of the $100,000 goal has been raised. The family seemed to be still in the midst of processing their grief. And, as relative Karen Egbuna told Local 10 News, there was one member who had only recently been informed of Christian's passing. The family had waited to break the news to Christian's 93-year-old grandmother.
Her grandson, who was expected to come home to Texas to visit for his 28th birthday, will no longer or ever be returning home.
That's crazy, bro.
As for Courtney, her attorney wrote in a statement that the influencer was struggling with the aftermath of what occurred that evening.
Oh,
While Courtney's
please,
past
shut
had
up.
already come back to bite her, it appeared there was
Stop
still
being
more
a
to
simp,
surface.
bruh.
On April 8th, The Sun released Courtney's mugshot from September 2020. With smeared eye makeup and a partially pulled down mask, the influencer
Always try to defend the murderer.
the Austin Police Department after she was arrested for a DUI.
White privilege
And
at
unlike
best.
other legal woes the influencer had, this was still unfolding. Courtney was set for a pre-trial conference in June 2022. The next day, Courtney's lawyer dropped a jaw-dropping claim. Frank Prieto told TMZ his client had possibly been a victim of human trafficking. The lawyer didn't expand on this claim, but alleged Christian wasn't the innocent man his family painted him to be. At the time of the incident, Mr. Obumseli was committing a forcible felony. He had gained access to Courtney's apartment without permission on several occasions in the days leading up to
Where's the evidence, though?
claimed. But Courtney's self-defense story had one major red flag, according to Christian's family, which was that she allegedly told detectives she threw the weapon that ended Christian's life. In an interview with Dr. Phil, the family described the impossibility of this scenario.
Is she a professional thrower? How does someone throw a 10 to 20 feet away and that fatally...
Yeah, her story didn't make sense either. I didn't believe her one bit.
Also noted that in Florida, self-defense is only a defense in response to deadly force. Christian did not have a weapon, and as for Courtney, well, it seems she had a history.
One previous boyfriend has indicated that she attempted to stab him on more than 2 occasions.
Then there was
wow, bro. So this isn't the first time she's done this. And these defense lawyers want to sit for her and say that she was innocent, her mental health did cause the situation, when she clearly had an intention to kill that person on purpose. Make it make sense.
Christian attempted to stop her. The interview also shed light on the way Christian's family had allegedly been treated by officers throughout the case, starting from the beginning. The day after the fatal altercation, Christian's mother received a call from a medical examiner requesting that she donate her son's organs. This was how she learned Christian had passed.
The way the news came to me was very, very inhuman and devastating.
Without knowing what happened to Christian, the family began questioning detectives and were eventually told that Courtney had ended Christian's life in self-defense and that the case had enough evidence.
That was a lie.
This was Monday.
Within 24 hours.
Within less than 24 hours, he had enough information to conclude that this was a domestic dispute.
But perhaps the case wasn't as closed as it appeared to be. On July 1st, an arrest warrant was put out for Courtney. The warrant came from Travis County in Texas, the influencer's home state. She had missed the DUI court date that had been set for June and was reportedly still in Florida, although her abandoned social media provided no clues of her whereabouts. On August 10th, Courtney was arrested by the United States Marshal Service, not for skipping her court date, but for the second-degree ending of Christian's life. Courtney had been in Hawaii when she was arrested. Courtney was seeking treatment for her PTSD and related issues to this case, and it is
that's not an excuse, bro. Stop making an excuse for your mental health.
And human
Stop making excuses for your bad behavior, bro.
The influencer's attorney said in a statement to Law and Crime, Courtney was clearly defending herself. We will vigorously defend Courtney and clear her of this unfounded and baseless charge. Frank Prieto said Courtney was held in police custody in Honolulu, Hawaii, where the influencer was denied bail and set to be extradited to Miami. And Miami-Dade State Attorney Catherine Fernandez-Rundle used the renewed media coverage of the case to expose evidence that discredited the story Courtney had allegedly told police of throwing the weapon 10 feet across the room.
It was a downward strike.
Right.
This was revealed by the autopsy, which exposed the wound to be 3 inches, a depth that required a force that a throw wouldn't likely achieve. The alleged timeline of April 3rd was also fleshed out. According to Fernandez-Rundle, Courtney had called Christian before her Instagram live video and again at 4:33 p.m., just before he got back to the apartment. Shortly after her boyfriend entered the unit, the attorney believed Courtney fatally wounded him. Instead of calling emergency services,
like she kind of knew exactly what she was doing, then she tried to lie on him and all of that.
4:43 p.m. and again at 4:49
like, just throw things and trouble objects 10 feet just to kill somebody. That's something you see in action movies, not in real life.
And it seemed there was no end to sources with their own stories involving Courtney and Christian. On August 15th, a former downstairs neighbor from the couple's days in Austin spoke to Fox 7. He described an instance where a tiger painting was thrown onto his balcony during a fight between his upstairs neighbors. As for who was the aggressor or what exactly was happening, sound alone could only provide so much insight.
Behind closed doors, we just started hearing some shouting, yelling. We don't know who was starting what. We didn't get a lot of context.
What was clear was that the two were in a toxic relationship.
Yeah,
Glasses shattering, banging on walls and floors all emanated from the upstairs penthouse, attracting the attention of neighbors and police officers on multiple occasions.
I just want people to know that it had been going on for a long time and it definitely could have been stopped.
And while Christian may have passed away before he could give his side of the story, he left evidence behind in the form of secret recordings. Prosecutors have made public 3 videos Christian stealthily shot on his phone that appeared to capture Courtney in a new light. From an uncontrollable jealousy in the influencer
calling him niggas and all of that.
Racial tirades towards her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. All seemingly because he greeted a woman he saw while on a bike ride.
Get off of me! What are I talking to her without telling me?
To incidents that
She
allude
is
to a self-destructive
unhinged.
nature.
Baby, please. Just get in the car. Just please. I'm sorry for all you. You would never hear me doing that. Was not right for me.
And it's always that one person apologized because they called him stupid, which clearly they are. Raging, calling them the N-words and all of that, which it's obvious to me that they know what they're doing. Because when they act like that, it means they're guilty.
You will never protect me. I will.
To what looked like a lack of accountability for her behavior.
Exactly.
I apologize, but you...
Shut up.
The evidence against Courtney has stacked up. In September 2022, Courtney's attorney requested any OF content and personal texts on her phone that aren't relevant to the case not to be released to the public in an effort to maintain fairness and impartiality in the future trial, where Courtney has pleaded not guilty. According to Frank Prieto, Courtney's right to a fair trial had already been jeopardized after the release of the elevator footage. As an email the attorney
She ain't gonna be getting out anytime
Sorry,
soon.
bud, but Courtney is going away from... After seeing the earlier video of that elevator, there's no way her self-defense story holds up. She's a psycho that needs to be locked up.
Courtney's attorney also questioned why newspapers like the Miami Herald wanted the content.
That's the motivation here for the Herald, to intervene. It's not to protect the public, freedom of the press for the public. They need clicks.
According to the Miami Herald's attorney, Scott Ponce, the local readership on their articles wasn't high enough to throw the fairness of the trial into question.
In a county as large as Miami-Dade County, that you're not going to be able to see an impartial and fair juror is just ridiculous. It's just not true.
In the end, the judge denied the motion to limit access to the material on Courtney's phone, and in a December 2022 hearing, Courtney was denied bond.
Relief from the family of Christian Obumseli after a Miami-Dade judge announced Courtney Clenny would remain behind bars until her trial begins.
So where does that
They
leave
better
us?
not,
Well, with more evidence being collected
found her
from both
not
sides
guilty.
and a seemingly
That girl
endless
is guilty
stream
of
sources
everything.
coming forward, there are sure to be further revelations as the missing pieces of this case come together. But with the trial date still to be set, only time will tell in what direction justice will sway. While there's no question that Courtney was the one who fatally wounded Christian, there are still mysteries surrounding the case, such as what happened in those 25 minutes between Christian arriving at their apartment and Courtney calling 911.
Christian can be heard in the background repeatedly saying that he was dying.
What evidence does Frank Prieto have for his human trafficking allegations? And finally, the question that will be at the heart of this trial. Had Courtney truly been...
She wasn't acting in self-defense. This girl clearly knew exactly what she was doing. She's a murderer. I hope she gets life in prison. Do not give her a slap on the wrist because of white privilege. I hope the family gets justice, and I hope that Courtney serves life in jail. I'm telling y'all, if they found her not guilty, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna unleash the biggest rant on here ever. And as for the simps out there, y'all be the main ones picking these type of women. Even if they're not murderers or not, y'all be the main ones picking them. Y'all gotta think better, pick better, and do better. So, original video will be down below. I'm gonna catch y'all on my next one.